Hey guys, my name is Raymond, and this is my first official, like, full-on devlog where I'm narrating something I've been working on for the past few months. So right now, this is just codename Scale, just Project Scale. It's what I name it for my GitHub repo, and this is just a game engine I've been working on for the past few months. It's a game I actually do want to release on Steam. I'm not quite sure what I want to make out of it yet. Right now I just have a planet render with a very basic planet. I got an atmosphere, I got water, I got reflections in the atmosphere. I'm just working on the actual core game engine itself. If I had to say the hardest thing to implement was the actual atmosphere, because I don't want to say the math was novel, but implementing the math for the atmosphere was something that I've never done before. I'm just using a basic one from NVIDIA. I really want to implement the atmospheric model drafted by Eric Brunton, but the math is a little bit over my head, but I'll figure it out eventually. So as you can see here, we have a level of detail systems for my game, where if you get close to a piece of terrain, the terrain actually gets higher detailed. And I have different types of terrain. I got snow up here. Basically, the way I did it is that if the vertex of a terrain is super high up, it'll always be rock, and if it's high enough, it has a chance of being snow if it's at a certain normal. And if I get a little bit lower, the way I did this is that if you have a piece of terrain that's super steep, it has a chance of either generating grass or rock. And if it's low to the ground, it can generate sand, and if it's underwater, it'll generate rock. So the the train generation is pretty good right now. It could be faster. The reason why it's a little bit slow is because of the noise library I'm using. I do want to write my own eventually. Right now I'm using Simple Noise 2D, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember what it's called. This was just a simple header I just found online, but it does its job. I do want to implement actual like Earth data, but I can't use the Google Maps API. So because it costs money, money I unfortunately do not have. So what I plan on doing, I already have the NASA data downloaded on my computer. It's free. It takes forever, and I'm gonna write a custom server to stream that data through a network. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna if I do end up using Google Map data, if I do end up using real life data, if I'm gonna like host my own servers or like ship it with the game. Still something I'm trying to figure out right now. But that was a little bit about the actual planet itself. As you can see, the frame rate isn't exactly the best, mainly because of the atmosphere and how I'm doing reflections. Because I have mentioned before, there are reflections in the actual water. If I just come down here, as you can see, and the water does ripple. I achieved that using a really cool geometry shader. It was actually the first time I've ever used a geometry shader for anything. It was an interesting learning experience. There are some little weird artifacts I want to fix, but the way I'm doing reflections is I am rendering the scene 6 times. I render it up, down, and all around. Right? I just render a cube. I use a cube map. Now, that's really good if you want high quality reflections without ray tracing, but it is like, I mean, it's not as slow as ray tracing, of course, but it's still a really good performance hit. But I'll figure something out. I'll obviously have an option to allow players to enable the shadows or not, but if not the shadows, the reflections, but if I have the reflections off, I usually get around 300, 400 frames a second. So let's zoom out a little bit. As you can see, the water turns black, and again, that's because of how I'm rendering the actual atmosphere. I'm rendering the atmosphere into one big cube map and then rendering it out, but the cube map is rendered from the player's perspective. It used to be where the atmosphere was rendered every single time it was needed, and that was really slow. But I mean, this approach is slower. And if I zoom out, planet gets really buggy. I know why it does, but like I don't really ever intend the player to be out here this far out, so I'm not too worried about that. One cool little feature I did add is that if I'm outside, right? There's two camera modes. There's a space camera mode where the character just kind of moves around, has free control of the camera. You can be upside down, but once you actually enter the planet, it quickly snaps you, and it maintains your like your relative looking direction. Like if I'm facing this weird angle, come to the planet, I'm still facing that way. And oh my god, the math to figure out how to do that took me like a whole day, and then I realized it was actually really simple. So, don't you just love matrices? Anyway, let me think. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yes. Oh, I also did add the ability to import 3D models into the game. Don't mind my garbage-looking code. Anyway, as you can see here, this is the Ybot from Mixamo. Bro loads into the game. I haven't added textures yet. I really should, honestly. I don't know why I haven't. But I also have a little debug menu here. I can change information about the player. I can change his scale. And then I can go into I can render out the armature real quickly because I did implement all that stuff. I can disable a mesh render if I want to. And then I can change my camera's FOV. I can reset it. This button here used to work, but then it just stopped one day and I just never cared to fix it because I never used it. And then I can change information about the atmosphere. I can change the wavelength data, 640. I can change the amount of samples I take, but as you can see here, it absolutely tanks my frame rate. I am thinking about introducing some pre-computation data, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not too knowledgeable on atmosphere rendering. I want to figure it out eventually. Oh, and one cool thing about the atmosphere is that there are sunsets. Like, let's see. Okay, if there's a sun, and then I can change the time of day. Let's see here. Um, there you go. There used to be fog, but the fog was killing my frames because of how I'm rendering shadows again. Not shadows, reflections again. It used to look a lot cooler, but until I can figure out a better system, there will be no fog. But yeah, there are sunsets. I'm not the happiest with this atmospheric model. I know I can do better, but like, I don't know. I'm not too worried. Let's just go over to the characters place again. 0, 0. Let's set the time of day. Oh, and there's a nighttime too. It's just the way I achieve this is that I just for every single vertex there is a light that faces the normal of the planet and it shines down. It's a very simplistic way of rendering in nighttime, but as I said, not too worried right now. Right now, I really want to implement a PBR based on Unreal engines, but again, the math kind of goes over my head. Anyway, so one more thing I wanted to show off. I forgot to show off about the player. If I come here into amateur, mix some more hips, blah 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 blah. As you can see, there is rigging, and yeah. Let me think. I'm not really sure of anything else I wanted to show off. Oh yes, this cool little button right here. Where is it? 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 Render model, armature, restore armature. Okay, that cool little button right there. Um. Yeah, that's that's my game. Again, I'm not too sure what I want to make out of this game. I'm thinking I want to make like I don't want to say a game like Minecraft. That's a little bit cliche. I want to make a survival crafting game. Okay, so basically Minecraft, but with a one-to-one model of the Earth. I don't know, like I'm thinking about story-wise. I'm thinking maybe like an asteroid. I need to start putting stuff down in a book. I want to say there is a game out there. It's called Sapiens. It's made by a man named Eric Bruton, and not Eric Bruton, Dave Frampton or Magic Dave. And what gave me the motivation? Because when I was 15, I remember I started watching his devlogs for Sapiens, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I've been programming since I was around 9 years old. And when I was 15, I really wanted to make a game like Sapiens, but with a more survival aspect. But I just couldn't. I just didn't have the skill back then to actually achieve it. So now this year, I was like, okay, this is a game I wanted to make when I was 15. Now I'm 20. let me just try it again, and it's actually coming out really well. And I am using 9 gigabytes of memory right now, which is a little bit crazy, but like no memory leaks, and it's written in C++. So yeah, thanks for watching my video. Keep up to date.